Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you didn't know, I'm a diagnosed narcissist, but before I say the things I'm going to say in this video, keep in mind that I am not a licensed professional. So with that out of the way, I want to talk about aromanticism. Because why the hell not? Every single time you see discourse about NPD and narcissists online, one of the things that you'll commonly hear is, oh, these people are just, incapable of love, falling in love, whatever, all this kind of like stuff. So it actually got me thinking, I wish I was aromantic. I mean, I'm probably not, because I feel like there's a part of me that's lying if I don't think about like having a girlfriend every now and then. The idea of, somebody loving me is a comforting thought, obviously, for a lot of people. And there's probably more to being aromantic than just like the typical cynicism and pessimism that I have about love. But I wanted to talk about like love, I guess, and how it doesn't really make sense to me. Or I've been thinking, for some time, and it feels like a scam. I don't know if that's like the thought process that somebody who is aromantic could have. A lot of this stuff is probably like hard to define in general because everybody defines love differently. I guess everybody has different like boundaries in a relationship. What is considered cheating? What is blah blah blah? Or can we connect if we don't share enough values or whatever, this or that? How similar do you have to be to a partner in order for this to like, work? Because perhaps opposites attract in certain scenarios and opposites do not attract, obviously, in certain scenarios. But I guess I just wanted to talk about like the core of love, and I think the issues that I see with romance. And I kind of hate the fact that I crave romance, or that I, crave this. So I'm probably not aromantic. But honestly, if I were aromantic, I think it would just make things like a hell of a lot easier. I think a craving for love or a craving of like some sort of like validation fucking annoys me because it screams in my face how, terrible my object constancy is when it comes to like, relationships and stuff, because I don't have like a stable, like coherent view on other people. If I'm thinking about like the negative stuff that you've done to me, you're nothing but the negative stuff that you've done to me. And maybe, when I'm thinking of like the positive stuff, maybe I see you as like completely perfect, which is also unrealistic because human beings are obviously not perfect. Well, except for me. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because that's a defense mechanism. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, I've been thinking for quite some time that love is honestly quite a scam, and I wish it was something that I didn't really, yeah, crave or feel. Because, well, when I say love is a scam, I think it requires like a hell of a lot of like lies to like put forward. Well, I guess it depends on like how you define like a lie in this case, but I think like you obviously say a lot of like illogical things when you're in love, like, oh, this person is my soulmate. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know? There's like billions and billions of people, on Earth. Or my boyfriend is the most like handsome guy I've ever seen. My girlfriend is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, or some shit. And again, I'm just like, how do you know? Like, love doesn't feel real to me often because I don't necessarily think that there actually is such a thing as connection. A lot of people would probably disagree with me, but like, I don't know. I see why people want love, obviously. Like, it's great being told like good things about myself as what you can expect in a partner. But when I think about love, and I guess like making a relationship work, oftentimes it doesn't, because people have like their own baggage that they're not like willing to deal with, and they just use other people as a way to like not having to confront like, said baggage. But oh, it shows up anyway in, all these relationships. And most people are probably not good at love, because I mean, it's been a well-known statistic that most like, marriages, for example, end in divorce. And probably places where marriage doesn't have a high divorce rate, it's probably because divorce is not allowed. Like, I know there are places where divorce wouldn't even be allowed, so I think that's skewed. I think if divorce was available like everywhere, probably all over the world, it would scream that like, relationships are, super fucking terrible. I think people idealize the past and say that everybody was like more like happier and stuff, and relationships were like thriving. But in a lot of cases, divorce wasn't really like an option either. So I think the revelation that divorce has like revealed to us is that people, want their relationships to end more than they actually want it to, succeed. Because this is what I've come to realize when it comes to like, love and stuff like that. Eventually you have to settle, because at least when I see the pattern in relationships, in, like human romantic relationships, the ones that work out, it's essentially because, they pretty much like settle. I think love is great when it like starts out, because, what is it that they call it, like you're in a honeymoon phase basically, and you and this other person basically start to like, idealize each other. But then people say that obviously once that's all over, like I guess like you really love somebody if you're like willing to like, look beyond like their flaws and stuff like that. And that's really like what I hate, to be honest, because I don't like seeing imperfections in myself, obviously, and I don't like seeing imperfections in like other people. So I struggle in a lot of like relationships, because when that like idealization phase that happens in like every single relationship like fades away, I just feel like, like I've been scammed, and I'm seeing, I guess the true like foundation of a person, and they're just as flawed as, everybody else. So then I start thinking to myself, why were we even doing that whole charade in the first place? I mean, I do get it. I do get it. But it's just like, just to like lead up to this point where like you're eventually going to have to like settle for me, and I'm going to have to like settle for you, because you're not going to constantly be that like perfect person that I had in my head that, caused me to have a crush on you in the first place. And that's why admiring somebody from a distance, I guess, is easier than actually being in a relationship with them, because they can be whatever I want them to be in my head, and I don't have to think of like any imperfections that they may have, like, whatsoever. Like that's essentially why people say don't meet your heroes, because the idealization that you have of somebody will always be better than that actual person, because, obviously human beings are flawed, we have errors and stuff like that. So love pretty much feels like a scam, or it's a biological scam basically, because, oh, as long as I'm hooked on oxytocin, I can look over the mistakes that a person, like has. But, I exist every single day, and I'm just like, that's trash, that's trash, that's trash, that's trash. So basically, when I think of love, it's like a glitch in the system that's trying to make me like erase the notion that everything in existence is trash, when I know everything in existence is trash. So a lot of times, yeah, again, I probably could not be able to say that I actually like am aromantic, but I hate the notion that I crave love, because I feel like craving love is just craving like idealization, kind of like what I said, because, you get to know people and you see just how like terrible they actually are, and we settle being around each other for like as much as possible. Or, I question like the validity of like actually being able to like connect with somebody, because it always feels like you have to like conduct yourself in a certain way. And everybody likes to say that like, love is forgiving, love has like acceptance, but be like, not really. It's an act just like everything else, because, people break up, people get into like a divorce, so they get into divorces. So basically this tells me that everything about love is still constructed in some way. Like, even if you tell me, like, even if you try to sound profound and be like, oh, it's actually true love when you see somebody's flaws, and you can easily get over that. You see them as like an actual person. And I'm just like that's what I'm saying though. That's why love is a scam, because why do you want to see the actual person? The actual person is garbage, much like everything else in life. Like, everything is always great in idealization, and then once you do it, it's not actually like all it's like cracked up to be. And I know that's true, because once people are done with something, they do the next thing. Even if it's the same thing, just with like a different person. Like let's just say like love in this case. Or if they finish like one particular goal, they're done and over with that. They go ahead and, do something else. If this relationship doesn't work out with like a particular person, they use the same cliches and lines with another person. Oh yeah, I'm sure you told your ex-girlfriend she was the most beautiful woman on the planet, like in the universe. And now you're saying that about your current girlfriend? So which one was real? Which one was actually, true? And you know, I think the reason why I know that love is just something that like makes you stupid or makes you do like stupid stuff, or it is such a scam, is because of like how delusionally like hopeful it actually makes people. Because when we know that statistically a lot of like, marriages don't even work, why aren't prenups more normalized? Like people will say that if you want a prenup, you don't even want your relationship to like, you don't want your marriage to, like succeed, but they don't say that for like any other sort of like emergency. Like if you lock your door, no one's gonna like accuse you of wanting like a home invasion. Or if like you lock your car, make sure your car is locked, no one's gonna accuse you of like wanting to get like your car stolen. But like when it comes to love, people are just like chasing this idea. Or it's like the only good part of love is when like it initially starts, and then inevitably you have to ask yourself like, am I gonna settle being with this person? Because it's almost like saying that like it's almost saying that like would I rather be with other garbage to feel better about myself than just being garbage on my own? That's honestly kind of what it looks like. And yeah, I get it, cuz like yeah, people are not perfect. People have like flaws and stuff like that. So it's almost like I don't want to fall in love. I don't want to fall in love, even if I might like want that. Or it's like I'm telling myself that like, that's a scam, because like, like it is a scam. And you know, after like love fades, like the initial feeling of like, ooh, I'm really like into this person, then all that's left are like two pieces of garbage reflecting back on each other. And you just gaslight yourself into saying that like that's apparently fine. I guess so. Because I mean, cope, human relationships, I guess, are a distraction, much like anything else, and nothing actually, like fills the void. So I guess sure, yeah, in a way, that's good enough. But like back to like what the subject of this video is about, like I wish I could just be like aromantic then. It sounds like it would make everything like a hell of a lot easier.